Are you starting to worry about interest rates and what's going on in the housing market? Well, you're in for a doozy today. Hey, this is Nuke out in Las Vegas, and what I want to cover today has to do with interest rates. I'm sure if you've been looking at the news any time lately, you'll see that interest rates have not just started to creep up, they have started to run up. And as of Friday of this recording, interest rates here in Las Vegas for a conventional loan average about 4.25%. That is the highest amount since 2019, and it is actually kind of crushing right now. Okay, here's the perfect example. If you're looking at what the median price house is now, it's about in the $430,000 range. Well, not too long ago, plenty of people were getting those sub 3% loans, like 2.75%, without paying down the loan. Well, if you purchased a home today at 2.75%, your payment would only be $1,755. But because of these changes in the interest rates, your payment is now going to be $2,115, a difference of $360. I mean, that's a lot of bills that could be paid. And here's the worst part. There actually may go up even more. The Fed has started to pull back with some of the spending they were doing, and this is causing a contraction in the 10-year bond market. On top of that, the Fed had plans to raise interest rates 3 times this year because everyone keeps complaining about it over and over again. And if you keep complaining, somebody's going to try to fix it. And you know what everyone's been complaining about? Inflation. So the Fed has several jobs, and one of their main things is controlling inflation. They look to keep inflation under 3%. But you see how things are now. Gas is up, food is up, everything is more expensive and it's starting to outpace everyone's salary. So the Fed wants to slow down the economy, and the easiest way to slow down the economy is to raise the interest rates. So this is going to cost you extra money just to buy a house. Now, what makes it even worse, because we have a shortage of houses, the house prices are going up even more. So housing prices are going up while interest rates are going up simultaneously. It is like a perfect storm. What can you do about it? I'm going to be very honest. There isn't much you can do about it because prices are going to continue to increase. Interest rates, let's see what happens. If we're very lucky, it could stick here. But some experts say it could approach 5%. Can you imagine paying 5% on a mortgage? Well, I ran some numbers. Guess what? 5%. That's if housing doesn't go up any $2,308 for that same $430,000 house. So can you imagine what that would do to your budget and the affordability of houses? So if this were to happen and we were to go to 5% interest rates, which I don't even know what would happen then. Your payment at $2,308 means a difference between the lowest interest rate we've been having lately and then would be $553. Let's be honest, that's a nice car payment. That's probably all of your bills. That could be half your groceries just because of the interest rate increase. Now, some of you are probably sitting there going like, hey, maybe things will turn around for me. We're going to have this whole foreclosure thing going on because all of these people in forbearance. Well, most of those people have caught themselves up. And because of that, there are very few houses that are still in forbearance. So those people are not really moving right now. And here's one that's a dirty little secret. Did you know that the federal government ordered the FICO scores be frozen? So in order to kind of save the economy, anything that's happening right now, especially in housing, because they know people fell behind because of COVID and everything, Their FICO scores are not being affected when they didn't pay their mortgage. They're going to get out of this with sometimes being able to put those payments at the back end, which means they went for months without paying. Now they're going to be paying what they were paying before. It's not like the interest rates went up on them. They may have gotten their houses for 2.75%, 3%. So they're in a very great position. On top of that, do you know of anybody who's underwater right now? Very few people are underwater. And worst case scenario, you're not going to have a foreclosure. Okay, they're going to still be foreclosures. And let's be honest, the foreclosures are going to be because there were some people who would prefer to stick their heads in the sand. Because there are foreclosures right now. I can go to the MLS and see foreclosures, but the person had positive equity. So they let someone else steal their equity. I mean, but let's be honest, there are not many foreclosures. We're at record lows of foreclosures, short sales, and all other distressed properties because there is such a shortage. It just gets absorbed up. Remember, we're 5.5 million homes behind where we should be right now based on population growth. So our population continues to grow. Will it still be 5.5 million? Will builders build us out of this? I don't know. But this is one thing I do know. If interest rates continue to go up, it will affect sellers the most. Because if you have to pay an extra $500 a month, that's $500 you can't pay for increases in housing prices. So it may slow down what we've been having with this runaway prices, runaway inflation of houses. Here in the Las Vegas area, housing went up 26.1% in 1 year. Can you imagine that? Nationwide, it went up 20%. So if you had a $400,000 house last January, on average throughout the United States, you now have a $480,000 house. Here in Las Vegas, that $400,000 house is a $500,000 house. What does that do for people's buying power? More and more people do not have the money to compete in today's market. I see it every single day. How many people out there have their closing cost and an extra $20,000, aka $25,000 to $30,000? Only people who have really saved up a lot of money and people who've just sold their homes. So I was on a call today and a lender was talking. He said, you need to start forgetting about these first-time home buyers because they just can't compete anymore. The only people who have the money to compete in this market are people who just sold a house or people who have a lot of savings. But how many people have, $30,000 laying around? That's just in this market. What I've been seeing lately is you have to offer 10 to 20,000 over the list price and waive appraisal, aka need to have 20,000, maybe even 30, because it could have been overpriced to begin with, just to compete. So it's just getting harder and harder. And I'm talking to somebody just yesterday, and in her market, which is in Ohio, the prices of houses are way lower than here in Las Vegas. The average is 30,000 over list price right now. It never slowed down for them because we actually had a brief little time for about 2 weeks where you could purchase a house and only have to offer 5,000 over list price to get it. So that time is gone. On top of that, we are about 2 weeks out from what's known as spring season, which is going to be the busy selling season. And when that happens, all heck is going to break loose. Because if we are at 10 to 20,000 over right now, imagine what it's going to be then. And then you've had to come out of this money out of your pocket. And then interest rates are up. And you've got to go and pay more per month for the amount that the bank will lend on. Because remember, the bank is only going to lend on what the appraisal is. Anything over that, the appraisal gap, you would be responsible for. So Here's a tip. If you're a buyer and you're looking for a home right now, and you do not have $30,000 in your pocket, or you need a little bit of help with closing costs, don't continue to look at houses that just came on the market. You are wasting your time, because those sellers, they're expecting that, because the neighbor down the street got 20,000, they want 20,000. Even though they factor that into the price that they listed it for. The neighbor got 500,000 for their house. Well, I want 520. And then they get mad when someone doesn't offer 540. That's what's going on in the market now. And that's unfortunate, and it's tragic. And you need to start looking for things that you can get to grab territory now. Things are not going to change anytime soon, at least for the next few years. Economists are projecting we're going to have this housing market for the next 4 years. The lowest amount from the pessimist economists show the following: that over 4 years, the average price of a home will be 23% more than it is right now. 23%. So you need to go ahead and start grabbing territory while you can. And also, if you've not subscribed to this channel and I've provided you with a little bit of value, please consider that today. Also, hit that like button, and I've got more videos for you guys to watch.